I had a question about the history and the current state of anti-Semitism in the Catholic Church. I'm currently Jewish, but I'm actually looking to discerning Catholicism. But I do have some reservations, honestly, around the whole anti-Semitic thing, because I do see people in current day defending things like the Inquisition, and that just makes me a little bit iffy. So I was wondering what you think about that.
Yeah, that's a really good question. That's a hard question to give a nuanced answer to when we're talking about the history, because there have been some ugly moments in the history. There really have been. And I think it's worth addressing that kind of forthrightly. Strangely, a lot of those ugly moments are probably born out of the fact that we have a sense of brotherhood. I think it was Sigmund Freud who talked about the tyranny of small differences. That if you look at like the history of the world, the people who tend to most hate each other are the ones who are very similar on like 90 to 95% of things and then don't quite agree. And so Catholics and Protestants can treat each other very badly sometimes for this reason. You go to the Balkans and it's, people hating on their next door neighbor, not the person 5,000 miles away. And so the fact that we have so much in common and yet don't see eye to eye on this incredibly important question of whether Jesus is the Messiah or not led to a lot of acrimony and bad blood, because both sides would look at this and say, you're just in bad faith, not seeing things the way I do, which is, of course, not fair and not a good way of understanding, for one, the gift of faith, for two, the complicated history of both Jewish and Christian history. So in the early days, so you'll find things in the New Testament, back when Judaism is very much kind of the dominant strand and Christianity is a small minority, where it'll speak of the Jews. Now, the word there is, in many cases, more accurately translated the Judeans, because that's what's in view, and it's not meant to be an undifferentiated whole. But later, Gentile Christians would sometimes seize upon those biblical texts, or sometimes even not even needing that much of a pretext, and would say and do hateful and awful things. So there is certainly a history of anti-Semitism that has colored some of the relations, or in a history of anti-Judaism, maybe more accurately, because it's not race-based for the most part. It's based on religious differences. And it's something that I think St. John Paul II quite wisely apologized for, and something that we see, especially in the 20th century, popes taking a very sharp eye towards. This goes back even Pope Pius XI and Mittenbrinder Zorge, or Pope Paul VI, with the liturgical changes to make sure that the reference to perfidious Jews was scrubbed, because it sounded like it was just making an undifferentiated claim about Jewish people. So there's been a grappling on the church's part of trying to remove things that can be weaponized for kind of hateful and bigoted reasons. So as for how things stand today, when I was growing up, I don't think I had ever met someone who was openly anti-Jewish. Like, it was something obviously we knew about from history, something that, we'd studied. And, occasionally you'd hear people make some kind of playful jokes, but usually to their friends in a high school boy kind of way. And with the internet now, you will find people who are really ugly with anti-Judaism, anti-Semitism, and I mean, you name it. You're going to find people who espouse every form of hatefulness, including Catholics. But I would say that is much more a phenomenon of people who are spending a lot of time online, and not the kind of thing that, at least in my experience, I've seen in church. I know, Trent Horn, my fellow apologist here, is ethnically Jewish, like 50% Jewish, and he's seen some ugly comments online. But I think, I don't want to speak for him, but I think, like me, it's been something where he's seen it more online than in real life, or like in person. And so some of that is something we have to grapple with as Catholics. Some of that is just something that is probably a phenomenon of spending too much time behind a screen and venting some ugly bile.
Paul, I'd love to hear your response. This is a really very important issue right now at this moment in the life of the church. So what do you think of what Joe said, or do you have a follow-up? Or
No, that was great. That was really, honestly reassuring, because I just wanted to know that anti-Semitism wasn't the default state in the Catholic Church. It doesn't sound like it is. So
no, I think
be careful who you read, though.
Shocking when I saw some of the things that people had sent to Trent, and it's shocking. I mean, it is as shocking, I think, to an ordinary Catholic as it would be to anybody. It isn't like, behind closed doors, we're all saying weird things about Jewish people. One of my friends from my scout troop growing up, his mom was Catholic, his dad was Jewish, and his dad would go with them to Mass. I don't think he was super observant. And I don't think to my knowledge, there was no kind of incident. I never heard anybody say anything negative. So those kind of things, maybe they exist and I just didn't see them, but I don't have any experience of it as a person who is not Jewish, but is sometimes mistaken for being Jewish.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you like this Catholic Answer, be sure to like, subscribe, and check out our live streams Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific, or find the episode after on YouTube, your favorite podcast platform, or our Catholic Answers app.